Coming up, I build a huge copper factory that creates copper from cobblestone. It includes a giant diorite engine, an andesite crafter, and much more. Let's create copper. I need it. And the reason I need it is because this big old factory we built over the last couple of episodes has eaten it all, trying to turn it into brass. And the reason it's been turning it into brass is because this factory has been making us all of these items in very high quantities. And it's done absolutely everything now to the full amount except for brass. And the reason it hasn't finished off the brass is because it needs copper. And the reason we've got no copper is because we're getting that from crushing tuff. And because of that, we've run out of tuff. And the only way we're getting tuff is by crafting diorite and andesite together, and we've run out of diorite, which we're getting from crafting cobble and quartz together very slowly. In fact, just upstairs we've got this little mechanical arm set up here which has been whizzing away crafting us as much diorite as possible, but it's only doing one at a time, which is pretty slow, and that means we're not getting a whole bunch of tuff. And because you don't get all that much copper from the tuff, in fact you just get a handful of nuggets occasionally from crushing tuff, which means we've not got any copper, which means we're not getting any brass, and that just won't do. So today we need to make a big old copper factory, which we're going to make from making a whole bunch of tuff, and we're going to make that from a whole bunch of diorite and andesite, which means we need a whole bunch of cobble and quartz. But we've got both of those things in absolutely massive quantities, so that really shouldn't be a big issue at all. The issue is going to be maggots. Apparently we've got maggots there. Got maggots there. Why with so many maggots? No, that's not the issue. The issue is where we're going to build it. This new area that we're in is getting all kinds of full. The road network's absolutely jam-packed, and there's not really much place to have any more roads coming off from it, except for this one here. Well, I've got very big plans for what's going at the end of that road, and that'll be coming up in an episode very soon, so if you want to check that out, make sure to subscribe. So that leaves us with not very much space at all in this area to squeeze anything in, except at the end of this road. If we extend that up here, we can make another little platform here, get rid of a bunch of those trees, and that should give us plenty of room to plonk on a big old copper factory. So I've got a whole bunch of work to do. But before we get to doing that work, we actually need to head over to the snowy area. Over in the snowy area, in the last episode, I asked you guys for a whole bunch of different name ideas for this area. Ideally not containing the word fox, FoxyNoTail, or having anything to do with foxes. And I got a whole bunch of comments, and the most popular one by far was to call it the snowy area. And that was by Nest the Cat, and that got 189 likes at the point of recording this video. Thanks, Nest the Cat. But that's not the name I've chosen. The name I've actually chosen comes from a comment from Panda Gaming, who gave me a whole bunch of suggestions, and the one I liked the most was actually Alpine Springs. And I like that because we've got a little hot springs over there, which is generating us a whole bunch of lava for our power station, and obviously this is an alpine resort, so that's going to be the name for this area. So I guess we need to update this waystone, which currently doesn't have the name of the area, it has the name of the hotel. So we're going to change that to Alpine Springs. So now whenever I go to a waystone, I'll be searching through it going, where's the snowy area gone? Oh gee, what's this alpine? Oh jeez. So with that out of the way and back at the new area, it's time for me to do a whole bunch of deforestation and get this platform extended so we can build a factory. So I better get cracking. And here we go. We've now got a nice big platform. We've even got a little yard. We've got a new road. We've got some walls around it. And I've even bothered to extend the grass down to meet this area here at this point, although I haven't done any of that over there. Which means we need to start getting some materials over here so we've actually got something to process. This factory diagram details exactly how we're going to process through this factory, and whilst it might look complicated, it's actually very simple. We're going to take some cobble and quartz, turn it into diorite. We're going to take that diorite and some more cobble and turn that into andesite, and then we're going to take the andesite and that diorite and some lava and turn it into tuff. Then we're going to crush down that tuff, and we're going to get all of these things out of there, which is flint, gold, copper, zinc, iron, and electrum. And we don't need electrum, but well, we just get that out of the thing anyway. So we'll compact all of these things down, and we'll take the copper, compact it into blocks, and then we're going to use some nuggets of experience and deployers to age it. So we first need to make the exposed copper, then we can take some of that and make the weathered copper, and then we can take some of that and make the oxidized copper. So at the end of this, we should have a plentiful supply of copper blocks, and all of the variants of copper blocks as well. So I've set up a little storage system here which should contain everything that we're going to need, but I actually need to connect this up to our storage system in order to drag those items out of here. And I would also like to produce cobble and quartz in this factory to help along with the process, because while we've got 1 million cobble and we've got nearly 2 million quartz, that will eventually run out and we'll just end up with a whole bunch of copper. We still won't have any diorite and we still won't have any tuff. So I'm going to have to be very careful with this process to make sure we're accumulating plenty of everything, and I think once we've got the ground floor in with all of that stuff, we can do an upstairs with a cobble generator and a quartz machine. So that's my plan. First thing I need to do is connect up these storage drawers over to our storage facility there so we can start getting some of those items out, and I also need to drag some lava over here as well. And I think the best thing to do for that is to steal this lorry that thinks it's going to deliver this lava over to our storage system, which no longer runs on lava. So you, sir, are going to need a new schedule, and I'm going to need some more track laying underground to connect this to there. The track is now all in place under here. I'm hoping that I've done it right. I've put a little fluid interface on there, but the pipe doesn't go anywhere yet, and I've updated the train schedule, so hopefully this thing's going to come out of here now and just go straight in there. So let's see what happens. Off you go, buddy. Is it going to work? Is he going to have enough room to turn around and do all of the things he needs to do, and is he going to connect in the right place? You never know. He's made it to there so far. That's good. You can come in, so you don't have to wait there while you're waiting there. What are you? Oh yeah, because of the barriers on that one that I replaced. He doesn't need to do that anymore. So he pulls forward, and now he can't find his way to there. Great. Good. Oh, it all worked perfectly. So he's looking for copper drop-off, which is here. Ah, I see. His track's too bendy. In that case, we'll go from there to around about here. Smooth it out a bit if we can. No, we can't smooth it out. Okay, we'll just throw that there then, and hopefully, yeah, there we go. Now he's succeeded. Ah, yes, that's the perfect position for him to be at. So now he can't find the next suitable destination, really? Jeez, this guy. Ah, right, because the corner that he needs to leave on it, right, in that case, what we'll do is we'll just move this station back a couple of blocks, and that should hopefully sort that out. Okay, sir, would you like to try that again? And you can start off by going to that bit over there so we know it's all going to work. So assuming he's just come into the factory, he goes to there, then he should reverse up here. He should now go a block further back. Yep, that's fine. And now he should, after 5 seconds, be able to actually get out of here. Fingers crossed. Is he going to do it? He is. Excellent. Oh, good. That's that little problem sorted then. So the lava tanker's back, and we're now filling up this tank full of lava, which is very nice. So let's take a quick look underground, and as you can see, what I've done is just added in some pipes, some pumps, a few water wheels so that we can actually power this thing, and then we've got another pipe going over here into a block, and that's going to be to power the power station. And the reason the block's there is just so we don't end up with lava all over the floor in here. And you guys must have seen me build 1 million power stations by now, so I'm just going to throw one together quickly. And there we are, a nice little level 9 boiler. I don't think we're going to need any more than that over here, which means the only thing I need to bring over here now is our items. And I'm not going to be building a quantum ring today. I'm just going to link our storage system here straight over to there with a whole bunch of cable underground. So we'll just sneak a little bit of cable in here behind there like that, and we'll bring it down here to the underground part, and then we just need to do a bit of digging through underneath here. Apparently I've logged out. I can't press anything. My inventory's not doing anything. Oh, apparently I've picked something up. That'll be why. And just putting this one back in here should connect everything up. Excellent. Make sure Ego doesn't get any ideas of escaping, because I've left the door open. Where are you, Ego? Fiddling with the diesel, no doubt. You normally are. Oh, there he is. You want a block to play with? There you go. It's a nice block, isn't it? Oh, you're just checking out there. Okay, you just keep your eye on those engines. Make sure they keep running, okay? Good job, Ego. That was those engines weren't making any noise for me today. These are normally the loudest things in the world. Huh. Oh, well, that's good. So what I'm going to do is move this storage controller over to this side here. Just hop down there a second into the floor. I'm going to grab myself a storage bus and stick that on there like that. And I'm going to come up round the back of that thing with a little bit more cable for an export bus, because we need to actually bring in these items from the other part of our storage system into here. Just like that. And I don't think we'll need any acceleration cards on there for now, but we might do. And I've got loads of them, so I might as well shove them in. There we go. Lovely. Good. Storage system done. Everything's coming in now, so that's good news. It's time to build a factory. Or the things inside of the factory, I guess. One more thing I need to do before we actually start putting this factory together is actually to put an import bus on here as well. You see, once certain items start filling up, the system's going to stop because there'll be nowhere to put any of the items. So we need to send them out of this system and back into our main storage system. And the way we do that is with this import bus, but I need to tell it what to take. And for now, we just want it to take flint, gold, iron, zinc, and electrum. Everything else can stay in here for the moment, and that will leave us with copper, all the copper variants, the tuff, the andesite, and the diorite, and obviously these things as well, which have all gone, which should hopefully come back in again. No, it's dead. But I own it. What? You're so confused, aren't you? Why is it going up and down? So what I've done to fix this is turn the priority right up, which will force this to be like the main area that things are stored in and stop everything else taking it out from here. And the other thing I've done is to partition the storage to say these are the items that we are allowing in and out. But that should still mean if I connect this import bus, I can still get other items out of there. So for instance, if I chuck a whole bunch of zinc in there, that should still go out of the import bus. There it goes. Excellent. So we're not fiddling with the things we're bringing in, but we are fiddling with the things we're bringing out. And there's one more thing I'd like to bring in over here, and that is andesite. Even though we're going to be crafting that here, it would make sense to have a bunch of it on hand already. And I'm going to do the same thing with diorite too, because it just makes sense that if there's any more in the system, it can come here to get used. So there we go. That's all sorted. Now it's time to work on the machines. And this is where things are going to get a little bit complicated because we need to produce an absolute ton of diorite and an absolute ton of andesite to make an absolute ton of tuff so that we can make a few of these. Because there's only a 10% chance of getting any of these nuggets from crushing tuff. It means we need to crush 10 tuff just to potentially get 1 nugget, and we need 9 nuggets to make 1 copper ingot, and then we need 9 of those to make 1 block of copper. So that's 810 pieces of tuff per block of copper. So we're going to need to be producing on quite a big scale. And that's going to be difficult because the only way to produce this stuff is with auto crafters, which are inherently slow. So we need a whole bunch of these and a way of getting items into them nice and quickly. And I think I've got an idea for that. And behold, the craziest looking contraption to make diorite that you might have ever seen. And this is only a small part of it. I'm imagining this the whole way across this platform here. And basically what we've got going on is a bunch of funnels up here. 2 containing cobble, 2 containing quartz, and they'll all come across these belts here. And then underneath that, we've got a series of chutes to put them in the right places. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work here, because what we need is for some of this quartz to go down this chute here, land on that belt there, and get taken in by this funnel in order to be put into that mechanical crafter there. Likewise, we've got chutes above the mechanical crafters to take those, so we'll have cobble going in here, we'll have quartz going in there, and then we'll have some more quartz going down here and into this one, and some more cobble coming down here and into this one. I think it should work as long as we don't end up with items stuck on top of these funnels, which I don't think they will. Now, if it did go wrong down here for whatever reason, I could actually put hoppers in there instead, but I don't really want to use hoppers because then they're going to fill up with all of the items, and that means it's going to use a whole lot of items getting through the whole way through this thing. But if we need to do that, then we need to do that. But the first thing I'm going to add to this is some emergency casing to stop any items just flying off the end there. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing there. And now I just need to connect all of these storage drawers together. And bear in mind, this isn't going to be in this position when we've built it because it's way too close to the power station. This is just a proof of concept, which means for now we can just trail all of these spruce trim all the way across here without causing too many issues for anything. Let's just do that there like that, connect all those together, and now we just need a bit of power. Well, that was easy enough for those. Then we just need these powered. Flip that round. Stick one of those on there, that's those powered. Then we just need to get this powered. Then of course we're going to want to be going maximum speed for this, so let's stick a speed controller on there, and then let's just get that connected to this with some very janky create connections. Right, the belts are going in the right way, that's good, that's all connected, and as you can see we've already got items on there, so that's good. And I haven't powered this one here. Let's just power that. Right, we're not getting items in the bottom. What? Oh look, oh geez, that's not ideal. Okay, so that little plan's not going to work. I knew it wouldn't. Stupid little plan. I hate this plan. It's a stupid plan. Now look at all of the... Oh my goodness. Well, it shows that we can get the items out of the system very quickly, But yeah, this isn't going to work. So we're going to use hoppers, which means we don't actually need these belts along the bottom at all. So let's get rid of that, get rid of all of these. That means I can make the whole thing a block lower down as well, which would be quite handy because it is pretty tall, this thing. There we go, right. In that case, let's do round number 2 and see how this gets on. Are we going to be making anything? That one's making, it's very, oh, I didn't do the speed controller, did I? It is on maximum speed. Oh, I've connected the wrong bit. Make sure the belt's going the right way, which it's not. Maximum speed in that direction. Here we go. Let's produce a whole bunch of this stuff. That's working. Okay, that's working quite nicely. Let's look at the belt above. The items are barely even moving on there because they're coming out 64 at a time, which they don't actually need to do, but that's okay. Let's check the hoppers. They're full, so that's good. And they're producing pretty quickly. That's not too bad at all. So that should mean we're now producing some diorite. And if I was to actually disconnect this import bus for a minute, that'll stop it going into the main system and we can see how fast it's coming through. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all, really. But is that from this, or is the system just sending it over? If I stop that, does it stop? It does. Okay, this system's working. So now all I need to do is rebuild it a whole bunch bigger and probably not quite so close to the power station and looking quite so janky. Give me a minute, peeps. I call it the Diorite engine. Now, it's going to be very difficult to see if any of these crafters are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, but this is the system. There's 10 of them all in a row. Everything's connected. It just needs a shaft for power. So let's turn it on and see how it goes. It's going to be going full speed, so this is going to be pretty quick, but there we go. It should start backing up as the crafters, well, are pretty slow. It'll take a while for the sides to fill up because the hoppers are going to have to fill up first, but we should... Oh, geez, we've already got a problem. How has that happened? So, well, something... Yeah, I guess that crafter's not working properly. Okay, let's stop the system. Stop. We got a problem with a crafter along here somewhere. That one's got diorite in it, so that's good. So we're going to need to just get rid of these chutes for a second and investigate. Ah, yes, that crafter's pointing in completely the wrong direction. That'll be why. Okay, chutes back on. One there. And then one over here as well. And let's start the system again. And let's see if we have any more issues like that. We shouldn't do. It should all go quite nicely. And we are producing. We're producing a whole bunch of diorite. Let's see how fast it's coming through. Yeah, that's a bit more reasonable. That's kind of what I wanted to see. And now all of the belts have filled up, which means this thing should be running at full capacity. Let's check it out. Oh, yes, that's going up nice and quickly. I'm going to time it and see exactly how fast. And the results are in. Running this for 1 minute gave us 850 pieces of diorite, and that works out as 51,000 an hour. That's crazy. Man, we're going to have more copper than a person that's got slightly less copper than me. This is going to be good. So next we're going to need to make andesite, and for that we need to use some of this diorite in order to do that. And I don't want to use it all because we also need the diorite, don't forget, to make the tuff. So we need to split it into 2. And that should be pretty easy because we've got 10 of these things. So what I'm going to do is just disconnect the storage drawers there. That means these 5 are going to go into our main storage and those 5 are going to go to a little storage system that's just going to feed our andesite farm. However, that means we've now disconnected these, so I need to think about that. What we'll do is instead of having this trim connect into the front section, we'll have it connect into the back section. Trim along here instead, please. So now the back section is feeding into the storage system and the front section isn't going anywhere. So what we actually need here then is another storage controller, and then we can have a gap, and then we're going to have our next row here, which is going to be our andesite engine thing. But then if we're only using half of the diorite that we're making, then we can only have an andesite engine that's half as big as this one, because otherwise it's not going to have enough diorite to run it. So we only need the back section for this. And the andesite engine's going to be different because it only requires 2 crafters for each one. So I don't need all of this up here, but we do need to be able to get cobble in here as well. So I am going to have to connect these storage drawers here too, without making them touch each other. Oh geez, this is going to be interesting. So a few moments later and we've managed to amass over 16,000 diorite in here, and in our other little system, which is our andesite engine, we should have a whole bunch in a little storage drawer just at the back here as well. We've got another 2,000 there. So that means that this thing just needs power, and this is a right little diddy thing compared to that one. I've squeezed all of the mechanical crafters in a line next to each other. They're coming into these storage drawers, which then connect all sort of squirrely underneath here to these ones, and these ones connect all sort of squirrely under here to those ones at the back, so they're not connected. And we can prove they're not connected because when I look at this, it only shows the diorite that's in there. And I know I say diorite, I can't help it, it's habit. I know it's diorite, I know. It's not my fault. Anyway, this should be ready to go. Nothing's actually come out of these yet though, which I'm a little bit concerned about. But if I connect that shaft there, hopefully, there we go, it starts to come out, and hopefully the crafters are going to start crafting. The cobblestone's not going in. No, it's because we're full over here. I guess I should give that a little bit more space for some more andesite then, so we can see this thing in action, and there we go. We're now producing andesite on a similar scale to what we were producing diorite, and what I want to do is measure how much of it we're getting, which means I need to disconnect this storage system so it's not being interfered with from the outside, have a look at this, and run a minute test. The results for the andesite machine are in, and it's more than I expected actually. I expected it to be exactly half of this one, because we're using exactly half of it, but it actually generated 580 andesite in 1 minute, which is the equivalent of 34,800 an hour, which is not bad at all. So now we can take the diorite and the andesite, use a little bit of lava and turn that into crushing tuff. We'll turn it into tuff. So compacting 1 andesite and 1 diorite with a bit of lava gives us 2 tuff. And that means we need to think about how many of those little pressy basiny things that we need, because that all comes down to how fast we're producing our andesite. There's absolutely no point in having more of the basiny pressy things than we can handle, and of course we're going to need enough to keep up. So I've got some fiddling around to do. So I'm going to do some fiddling around. So each one of our basins is going to need lava in it. So first of all, let's just run a lava pipe along the floor here, and then we'll put the basins on top of that like this, all next to each other to save as much space as possible. And that's 10 of those in a line. Then what we can do is actually have these item drains on one side like this, and item drains on the other side like that, and that's how we could get our items in there. But if we did that, then there's nowhere to get our items out of. So we actually need 3 sides on each one of these open, or we could use mechanical arms, but mechanical arms are pretty slow when they're picking up from multiple sources. So in order to keep these going fast, we'd need a bunch of them, like 1 for each ingredient. And that might not be a bad thing, since we're so rich from our Create factory. So something like this could work, where we'd have 2 items coming out for each of the basins and 1 funnel going in for each of the basins. Then we just need a mechanical arm to pick up from there and there, put it in there, and then we could plonk that on there, and then we'd just have mechanical arms for each one of these things. That might work, but it does look a bit of a mess, and it's not ever so tidy. Both of those things mean the same thing. What if we did something like this instead? We don't need half of the draw controller things on this one. We're just using belts instead, and we just have a bunch of mechanical arms that take from their point on the belt in front of the basin, deposit into the basin like that. The items will come out of here and they go into there basically on a loop. They're coming out of the system, then going straight back into the system. And then we've got a little conveyor at the bottom that would take all of the finished items out. I think that could work, but I'm not sure we're going to need 10 of them because I've really no idea how fast this is going to be. So I guess there's only one way to find out, and that's to get it all plugged in and turned on, I suppose. Well, I think I'm just about ready. What we've got here is that system that I just said that I was going to build conveniently. We've got all 10 of the basins down here. We've got all 10 of the mechanical arms there. I've dropped it all down into the floor a bit. We've actually got lava in these already coming over from a pump, but this is only running off 1 pump, and I don't know if that means the lava's not going to get over here quick enough, but it might do. We've also got everything else ready and powered. The mechanical arms are each going to take off their section of the belt, and I'm a little bit concerned that this one's not going to have time to grab anything because it's going to go into these funnels too quick, and I'm a little bit concerned that this one won't be able to grab anything because it's where the funnels are. But we'll find out in a second. All I gotta do is stick a shaft in there and we should start going. The mechanical arms are already going crazy. That's good. The items are not getting much further down though, which is slightly concerning, and the presses don't seem to be doing anything at all. Why the press is not going? Oh, that one's going. Well, that was weird. Do they need a whole bunch? Oh, because they're only getting one type of item in because those arms are stupid. Yeah, these all need to be on forced round robin. Otherwise, this is not going to work at all. And there's the last one on forced round robin. And yeah, the items are not coming out of here anywhere near quick enough, which could be a problem. So I guess instead of having one at a time come out, we'll have 16 at a time come out. No, we will have 10 because there's 10 basins. That makes more sense. And now they should all be able to get stuff. This arm trying its best, but it's just not fast enough. That one's not doing anything at all, but this one is. And now we should be creating a whole... Wow, we're actually creating more tuff than the system can deal with. But these last three are not doing anything. And that means we're probably generating more tuff than we are doing obsidian? Diorite and andesite. So yeah, I don't think we need half the amount of this going on here. So I'm just going to get rid of 5 of them for now. And see how we get on with that. That's still a crazy amount of tuff coming through. Oh, this one's not doing anything either. Okay, right, we don't need that one then. We now are down to 4 basins that are still producing an absolutely ridiculous amount of tuff, but we need to know exactly how much because we don't want it to be more than the andesite coming through. So I guess we need to go and do a timer. Well, it turns out it's way too fast. In 1 minute, we made 970 tuff, which in an hour is the equivalent of 58,200. Which is faster than our diorite machine, it's faster than our andesite machine, which means we need to slow this right down by at least half. So let's just get rid of 2 of those. Why is it stopped now? Is it full again? No? Why is it stopped? We've got we've run out of cobble? No, we're not using cobble. We've run out of lava. Oh, we chewed through all of the lava. Right. Has my lava truck given up? Where is my lava truck? Oh, they've got themselves all sorts of confused over here. Yeah, that'd be why we've got no lava then. Right, you absolute morons. How have you managed this? I guess I need to make a couple of these brassy ones to stop them doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, and I'm just going to do it on all of them and see if that helps, because I really don't know what I'm doing. Right, now you, lava bogey, you're going to have to come back over here out the way, I think. Let's just chuck you, I guess, down here. Now the other one can go in. Okay. Maybe you're on the wrong side of the road, are you? There we go. Excellent. Good. Problem solved. Oh, no, that one's going in reverse. Oh, gee. Where are you going now? Now you're going to be facing in the wrong direction. It's all well and good being here, mate, but if you're facing the wrong way, you're not going to do any good. Let's just spin you around, buddy. Oh, I broke the track. Oh, this isn't going well at all. There we go. Right, okay, those things shouldn't have a problem anymore, so we should start getting lava over there soon, and that means the system should be working. So I guess I've got a couple of minutes to wait. And while I was waiting, I decided to compact the entire thing and move it over here in front of the andesite machine so that we've got plenty of space over here, and now everything should be in place. We've still got no lava in there for some reason, but we've got loads of lava over here. So I can only assume my pump's not working, but I have attached a pump. But other than that, everything should be ready to go. And we've got no lava in there because I haven't connected the power. That makes sense. Right, yep, that's all good, but we have no power to this belt because I'm a moron. Jeez. Just a little bit more jiggery-pokery here, but oh, jeez, my thing's in... Oh, no. Okay, we'll move the pipe a bit. Right, pipe, you've got to come directly down underneath that bit, please. And that means all I need to do is extend that chain drive down there, which is now going backwards. And we'll put the other type of gearbox just there, and now that should be going in the right direction. So if I extend that belt, there we go. And look at the speed of this thing. And the arms are taking 16 at a time, so they'll never ever stop. Those things will always have absolutely plenty, and they're just going to keep going and going and going. Finally, we got somewhere, but I need to time it again. Jeez. And walk into things, apparently. It's time to do a timer. And this time we got 480 in 1 minute, which is the equivalent of 28,800 per hour, which I think is better suited for our entire system. That's still a whole bunch of tuff that's going to come through, and that means that we can start actually reconnecting all of this to our main system, get some cobble and some quartz back in here so we can actually keep up. One little connector there, thank you very much. Can I have some more cobble and quartz, please, system? Oh, it's trying to come in, but we're using it faster than it's coming in. That's fine. Good. Full lava. full lava lorry, all of the systems we need in place, which takes us all the way up to this point here where we need to start crushing that tuff. And after that, it's pretty easy because these are just compacting drawers. Then it's just a case of having a few deployers. We're nearly there. But how many crushing wheels are we going to need to crush this much tuff? And I'm going to guess 1. And it makes sense to have these crushing wheels just about here because they really don't take up too much room at all. We just need a belt across there, one of those gearboxes there, one of those gearboxes there, one of them there, and one of them there, and that's pretty much it. So what are you doing now then if that's it? Well, I'm making a mess of it all for a start, just so that I can put me trim in, mate. And there we go, we're already off to the races. We've got a little storage funnel in there, which is taking that tuff and it's grinding it down, although it doesn't seem to be doing anything at all right now. It should have been doing. They're all going in the right direction, but I'm not seeing anything going there. Ah, yes, we're accumulating copper very, very, very slowly, which is what's to be expected, I guess. So it is working, we just can't visually see it. But I don't want to use all the tuff. See, I would like to have some tuff left over for the other things, and in order to stop this using absolutely everything we're making, I'm going to get the old redstone links out. So we're going to have one on there in receive mode. We're going to come behind here and we're going to get to the tuff drawer, which is that one just there, and we're going to put one of those on there. We're going to put one of those on there. And because I'm really good at thinking of these things, we're going to have tuff. And over here, we're also going to have tuff, which is quite a fun thing to say. So now that's only going to allow tuff out of there if we've got plenty in there, but it won't because it needs inverting. So if we switch that over, now it's only going to allow tuff out of there if we've got plenty in there, and this will consider a whole bunch plenty. So maybe we can turn these things down a bit. Let's say if we've got more than 10%, then we'll allow it through. Now, I'm not sure of the exact capacity of these drawers. With one storage upgrade in there, it says it increases it by 32 times the base value. And the base value is 2,048. And 2,048 times 32 is 65,000. It says we're at 8,400, and we are currently at about whatever that is. About 15%. Oh, so yeah, it's going to be about 60-odd thousand. Jeez. Right, okay, good. Well, anyway, once this gets above 20% of however many are in there, it will then move to this lane, which means it will then start producing copper. And then when it gets below 10%, it will then go to this lane and it'll stop producing copper. So as soon as we've amassed a good amount of tuff, we will be in the copper business. So we just got to wait for this thing to build up. And while that's building up, I might as well get on with our copper processing side of things. As we've done now everything all the way up to this one here. We've got our copper blocks in our little copper block machine. We've got a whole one of them so far, so I just need to do a bit of pokey on them. A bit of pokey on them? Yeah, a bit of pokey on them. That's all we need is a bit of pokey. So let's assume for a second we're going to get copper blocks coming out of there. They can go onto a conveyor here and they're going to get poked once with a poker. Otherwise known as a deployer in the technical circles, but I like calling it a poker. And that's going to have nuggets of XP. And because we want to keep a stock of each type of one of those things, we don't just then want to put XP onto all of those and then create those and then all of those and create those. We need to split this up a little bit, so we're going to use tunnels. So at this point here, we're going to have a tunnel. We're going to have another belt coming alongside this one here. And then what will happen is the half of the stuff is going to go through back into the system and the other half of the stuff is going to get poked with another poker. And then we just need to continue this down a little bit, all the way till this point here, and that's going to take in our oxidized ones. So copper comes out, then we're going to get the exposed copper going into there, then we're going to get the weathered copper going into there, and then we're going to get the oxidized copper going into there. And this system should keep a stock of everything except for the main copper block, or should I say the just normal copper block. And we could do the threshold switch thing here to stop loads and loads of them coming out, and that makes sense. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's grab a threshold switch, stick it on the back of the copper one, get one of those on there, grab a bit of copper, our only one, and stick it on there. Come all the way over here and grab another one of those redstone links and stick that on there, put it in receive mode, and then stick that copper on there. Now we just need a handful of funnels. This one's going to have copper coming out, obviously, and we only need to do one at once because the deployers can only handle one at once. These need to be on forced split, so they'll send two out either way. Then we'll have just normal funnels on all of these, and these need to be on forced split as well. And there we go, that's that sorted. So all we need over at this point now is a little bit of power and some shiny brass casing to make all of this belt just look a whole bunch nicer. And once again, we're ready for action. All we need is a little bit more shaft on there to connect that, and this system is now ready to go. But it's not going to do anything because we haven't got enough copper in the system to actually run it. So I'm going to cheat a little bit by using some of my personal supply that I keep in my backpack and filling up the system with that. And now it should have enough to actually kick in and do something. And here we go. The copper's coming through. That's gone in there and not gone anywhere. That's gone in there and not gone anywhere. And oh, I haven't connected these storage drawers. I seem to have figured out what the problem is in my expert level 99 way. Right, that can go in there and that'll allow that to go through, hopefully. No? Yep, there we go. Then we just need to bring that along there and that should allow that to go in eventually. There we go. And then we just need to bring this one around here like this and that should allow that weathered cover to go in there. Amazing. And I keep saying coffer instead of copper for some reason. That's just how my mouth works. There we go. Look at that copper being processed in the processing machine, doing all the things it needs to be done, giving us all the juicy good stuff going on in here. And for what? But I've still seen stuff going in here at this point, so why weren't they over here? I guess I'll chuck in another bunch of copper and hopefully it'll work this time. Let's actually see if we get some weathered copper through. Oh, this one's not poking it. Did I mess my recipe? Oh, I messed my recipe up. That should be, yeah, that should be weathered copper. The recipe should now be fixed. So if I chuck some of this down here, there we go. That should actually be creating us the right stuff now. Is that going into here? Yes, excellent. Good, right, okay. In that case, I'm going to chuck half a stack on there and get all of that processed. Look at it go. Many oxidized copper. Going into the system, ready to have a lovely factory wrapped all around it using all of this amazing copper that I've made. No, I've hardly got any copper. Gonna need more copper. And the other thing is, I want more of that than I do of these. I hardly need any of those, but the way this goes, we're going to get a bunch of those, half as much of those, and then half as much of those as those. So we're going to have the fewest of those, which is not ideal. So the other way we could do that is with more of these threshold switches, and then just letting a certain amount of those out. But, we'll leave it for now and see how we get on. So I thought I'd leave it running for a few minutes and see how we got on. But as you can see behind me, something very strange has happened. My power station has disconnected itself from all of the shafts, which means nothing is running now and I'm accumulating absolutely no copper. We've got 3 blocks, but why has this happened? How has this happened? What could possibly go on to make that happen? It's ridiculous. And speaking of power, we're hardly using any stress considering we've got all of these contraptions going on. And I've also been thinking while I was taking that little bit of time, I don't think I want any of these types of copper. We might as well just have this one because then we can just use an axe to put it back to the other stage if we want to anyway. But what would be nice would be to have honeycomb. But I don't have a bee farm, and it's far too late in the video to be making one of those. So what I think I'm going to do with this little setup here is instead of having it how it is smash it all to bits. And then we can just have 3 deployers in a row like that, all with these smart chutes on top, all with those on there, which are now going to get all sorts of stuff in there they're not supposed to have. Can I have those a second, please, so I can put the right filters on? Thank you. And then all we need is a funnel on there, and I don't need any of this other stuff at all. And that's just going to turn all of the copper that we're not holding back with that threshold switch into weathered copper, and I think that's going to be much better. Or at least it would be if these things hadn't picked up oh geez, look at all this copper. Stop it. So now that's a whole bunch smaller. What I'm going to do is just chuck all of this copper on here, and hopefully this will all get processed and turned into the good stuff. Why? Oh, no, it's not going to work. Need to spin those round. Oh no, I'm making a mess. Those need spinning round and we need the power from the end. Jeez. All right, let's try that again, shall we? All of that, and all of that on there. Poke it, poke it, poke it, poke it. So it's doing that on the weathered copper, but when it gets to that oxidized stuff, 2 of these should start going with a bit of luck. And then it should all turn out to be the right stuff. There we go. We've got 2 of them on the go. This is good. So we're getting all weathered copper now, which means we don't actually need these 2 storage drawers at all, but I might as well keep them just for the sake of keeping them. And now we've got, wow, an absolute ton of oxidized copper, but we've still only got 7 blocks of copper because 128 of that came from my own personal... Oh, geez. Right, power station, no more break-in. time to build a factory. So a very quick cut for several hours worth of work. I've been working on this for a while and I've tried all sorts of different designs and things and shapes and, well, basically I spent ages on it trying to get something out of this. I wanted to have this sort of vibe for our liquid storage building that we've got over here, sort of very modern factory-ish, but I also wanted to keep with the sort of colours of copper with the reds and the dark bits like the copper casing we've got around here. And I think it almost works. It's not too bad, it's okay, you can tell it's an industrial building. We've got a little bit there for lorries to turn up to, although that doesn't work, that's not where they go. We've got our front door over here and round the sides. Not much has changed really, other than the building. I have extended this around here because I could get rid of a whole bunch of that foundation that we weren't using, so I've been able to minimize the space that we've used, and I'm actually relatively happy with it. We've got some more doors over here which lead to inside, and inside not a great deal has changed at all. We've got some walls around our storage drawers here and a little ladder onto that little mezzanine there. And that's about it, other than a few lights dotted around. And the reason for that is I was going to put a second floor in here, but because I've actually added in this second crushing station here for the tuff, because we were generating more tuff than copper and we weren't generating enough copper, I don't think it'd squeeze in ever so well, because it would need to go at this level here below the glass, and I just think it'd look all kind of weird in here, and I kind of like this openness of this factory. It almost feels sort of like airplane hangar manufacturing type size scale thing. We've got these skylights so we can get daylight in here, which is why it's not too dark, and otherwise I think I've done a pretty reasonable job. But the big question is, how much copper have we got after all of that time? 98 blocks plus, so still that hasn't changed. Okay, so it's not the fastest copper farm in the world, but when you're dealing with a 10% chance of one nugget from one piece of tuff, you know, it's going to be pretty slow going. But as I mentioned in previous videos, this server stays on permanently, so in the background while I'm not here, this will be ticking up slowly and surely we'll have a whole bunch of copper. Unless the power station decides to delete itself again, which is actually done 3 times while I was building this building. First of all, we had the similar sort of thing again, where just a couple of shafts disappeared, then I had a whole bunch of these disappear, and then I even had the chain drive disappear. So what I've done is I've just attached these ones, and it's been fine ever since. But for some reason, when I plug them all in, it just disappears. And I was standing here, I was actually recording a video of these going up, because I was going to have a little time lapse of the numbers going up, and it was working. All the numbers were going up. I turned round and then all of a sudden that was missing and all of this was overstressed. So I haven't logged out, the server's not closed down, I haven't gone out the area, I haven't unloaded any chunks. I was just facing in a different direction. But what I think it might be, I think it might be lag. I think we've finally built so many things in this area, in this world, that the server's struggling to keep on top of it all. And I'm not surprised, because I've done an awful lot of work in this world. I've made an awful lot of things. We've made a lot of vehicles. We've made a lot of factories. We've made a big old storage system. There really isn't much I haven't done, except for one thing. Ow. Jeez, that was me. You ruined my outro, mate. What's the one thing? Diamonds, mate. We're going to make diamonds, but not that rubbish way Mr. Beardstone did it. Oh, no, we're going to do it much better than that, with a much more elaborate and painstaking process that's going to result in us not having many diamonds, I imagine. But it's going to be fun. So check that out.